Title: Life-changing motivation for depressed persons. Emotional empowerment for people in pain and hardships. Part 1 Introduction, Speaking to the Heart. If you're here right now, it probably means life feels heavier than it used to. You wake up, and before your feet even touch the ground, you feel a weight no one else can see. It's not just tiredness, it's something deeper. A quiet ache that sits in your chest and refuses to leave. A constant fog in your mind, stealing away your energy, your hope, and sometimes even your will to keep trying. Maybe you've tried to explain it to someone before, but they didn't understand. They told you to just think positive or stop overthinking. They didn't realize that if it were that easy, you wouldn't be feeling this way right now. And so, you've learned to keep it inside. To wear the mask. To pretend you're okay when you're not. Let's be honest. Depression isn't just sadness. It's waking up with no energy to do the things you once loved. It's losing interest in people, hobbies, and dreams that once made you feel alive. It's sitting in a room full of people but feeling completely alone. Sometimes it's not even about one big tragedy, sometimes it's the weight of many small things piling up until your spirit feels crushed. A stack of unpaid bills. An unanswered message from someone you thought would never leave. A mistake you made that you can't stop replaying in your head. A life that doesn't look anything like what you hoped for. Maybe your pain has a name. Financial struggles that make every day feel like a survival test. Heartbreak that keeps you awake at night, replaying memories until your pillow is soaked. Loss of someone you loved so deeply that you can't imagine life without them. Loneliness that feels like an empty echo in your heart. Or maybe, your pain doesn't have a name. It's just there like a shadow following you everywhere you go. I want you to know something important before we go any further: this is not your fault. You did not choose to feel this way. And you are not weak for struggling. Depression is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign you've been trying to be strong for too long without enough support. It's your mind and your heart telling you, I can't carry all of this alone anymore. And if you've ever thought, I shouldn't feel this way, other people have it worse, please hear me when I say this: your pain is valid. Just because someone else is struggling doesn't mean your feelings don't matter. You're allowed to hurt. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed to say, this is too much. Now, I know there's a part of you that's tired of hearing motivational speeches. You've scrolled through videos and quotes that tell you to never give up or just stay strong. And maybe you rolled your eyes because you've heard it all before. You don't need empty words, you need something real, something that works in the actual life you're living right now, with all its chaos, pain, and uncertainty. That's why I want to tell you this is not just another motivational talk. This is a guide. A step-by-step journey. Not to make your life perfect overnight, but to help you take the smallest, gentlest steps forward, even if right now you feel like you can't move at all. If you've made it here, it means you still have a tiny spark of hope inside you. It might be small, almost invisible, but it's there. That's the part of you that clicked on this video. That's the part of you that's still searching for answers. That's the part of you that refuses to fully give up. And I'm speaking to that part of you now. It's okay to be tired. It's okay to not have it all figured out. It's okay to feel lost. But it's not okay to give up on yourself. Because here's the truth: you are not finished yet. There are chapters of your life you haven't even read yet. Moments you haven't experienced. People you haven't met. Places you haven't seen. Love you haven't felt. And I know right now, it's hard to believe that better days will come. But they will. They always do. Storms don't last forever, not even the one inside you. Before we begin, I want you to do something. Close your eyes unless you're somewhere you can't and take a slow, deep breath. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds. Do it again. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel the tension leave your body, even if just a little. You've survived 100% of your worst days so far. You are still here. And that means there is still hope. I'm not here to promise you an instant cure. But I am here to promise you this: if you stay with me through this guide, you will walk away with tools, real, practical, and simple tools that you can use starting today. Tools to help you calm your mind when it feels chaotic. Find small sparks of joy again. Build strength, even when you feel broken. And most importantly, remember why your life matters. You don't have to be ready to climb a mountain today. You just have to be willing to take one small step. And if that step is simply listening to my voice right now, that's enough. That's more than enough. Quote to carry with you as we begin: it's okay to be tired, but it's not okay to give up. Let this be your reminder that rest is allowed. Slowing down is allowed. But quitting on yourself is not. Because your story isn't over yet. And I'm here walking with you until you can see the light again. Part 2: Understanding depression without shame. When you hear the word depression, what comes to your mind? For many people, it feels like a label, a heavy word stamped across your forehead. It can feel like it's become your identity. Like you are no longer you are the depressed person. But here's the truth I need you to hear right now: depression is not who you are. It is not your identity. It is not the sum total of your worth, your personality, or your future. Depression is a state, something you are experiencing, not something you are. Think of it this way: if you stand outside on a rainy day and get soaked, you wouldn't say, "I am rain." You would say, "I am wet." Because the rain is something happening around you and to you, but it's not you. Depression is the same. It may feel like it's everywhere, like it has seeped into every corner of your mind, but it is not you. It's a condition. A temporary storm. And storms, no matter how long they last, eventually pass. One of the most dangerous lies depression whispers to you is, "This is who you are now." It tells you, you'll always feel this way. But feelings are like the weather, they shift. They come and go. Yes, some seasons are longer and harsher than others, but they are not forever. Depression is not weakness. We need to address something important: the shame. Many people who are depressed feel ashamed of it. They think, "I should be stronger than this. Other people have been through worse and they're fine, why can't I be? If I were stronger, I wouldn't feel like this." But listen carefully: depression is not a sign of weakness. It's not a flaw in your character. It's not proof that you've failed at life. In fact, do you know what depression often means? It means you have been fighting battles in silence for too long. It means you've been carrying more than your heart and mind were designed to carry, without enough rest or support. It means your body and soul are sending you a message: "I need help. I need healing. I can't keep going at this pace." If your phone battery dies, you don't call the phone weak, you just recharge it. If your car runs out of fuel, you don't throw the car away, you refill it. Why, then, do we treat our minds and hearts as if they should run forever without care, without rest, without help? Depression is a signal. Not a sentence. Not a punishment. A signal that something in your life, body, or spirit needs care and attention. There's nothing wrong with you. Another lie depression tells is, you're broken. It convinces you there's something fundamentally wrong with you, something that makes you unfixable. But here's the truth, there is nothing wrong with you. There is something hurting inside you. And those are two very different things. If you broke your arm, you wouldn't say, I'm useless now. You'd say, I'm injured, I need to heal. Depression is an emotional and mental injury. It needs care, patience, and the right treatment, not shame. You are not less of a person because you are hurting. You are not less capable of love, joy, or success because you are struggling right now. If anything, people who have walked through deep valleys often develop the greatest compassion, the deepest wisdom, and the strongest hearts because they've learned what pain feels like and how to keep moving through it. Separating yourself from your feelings. One of the most powerful steps you can take right now is to learn to separate yourself from your depression. I know that sounds strange. But think about this, if your mind says, I am worthless, is that statement true, or is it just a thought? A thought is not a fact. A feeling is not a fact. Feelings are real in the sense that you experience them, but they are not always true reflections of reality. When you think, I am depressed, you're telling your brain, this is who I am. When you change that thought to, I am experiencing depression, you're telling your brain, this is something I'm going through, it's not me. That small shift changes everything. Because when you stop identifying as your depression, you open the door to imagining yourself without it. And if you can imagine yourself without it, you can start walking toward that version of you. Action step, claim your identity back. Right now, not later, not tomorrow. Grab a piece of paper. Write these words exactly as I say them, I am not my depression. I am bigger than it. Say it out loud. Even if it feels awkward. Even if your mind tries to argue with you. Say it anyway. And here's why, your brain listens to the words you speak, especially when you speak them with intention. When you declare, I am not my depression, you are planting a seed. It might not sprout overnight. But every time you repeat it, you water that seed. You remind yourself that this is not the end of your story. You are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings. You are the one experiencing them. And that means you have the power slowly, patiently to change them. Imagine a new perspective. Imagine your depression as a heavy backpack. Inside it are all the things weighing you down: pain, loss, exhaustion, fear, financial stress, relationship problems. It's so heavy that every step feels impossible. Now imagine setting that backpack down for just a moment. You're still you, but without the weight on your shoulders. You can breathe a little easier. You can see a little farther ahead. This is what happens when you separate yourself from your depression. You start to remember that the weight is not you. And because it's not you, you can begin to take things out of that backpack, one by one. Why this matters for healing. Here's why understanding this truth is so important. If you believe depression is who you are, you will feel powerless to change it, but if you see it as something you are experiencing, you can work on it, manage it, and eventually overcome it. When you stop saying, I am broken, and start saying, I am healing, your brain starts searching for ways to heal. This is not magic, it's neuroscience. The words and labels we use for ourselves shape the way our brains interpret our reality. Your identity is bigger than this moment. You have laughed before. You have loved before. You have achieved things before. Those parts of you still exist even if they're buried under the fog right now. Depression might be a chapter in your story, but it's not the whole book. And I promise you, you still have beautiful chapters ahead. So the next time that dark voice whispers, this is just who you are now, I want you to remember this moment. Remember this truth: I am not my depression. I am bigger than it. Because you are. You always have been. And nothing, not even depression, can take that away from you. Part 3: Breaking the Isolation. Opening with truth. Depression is a master of deception. It convinces you that you're alone in the world, that nobody could possibly understand you, and that speaking up will only make you a burden. It tells you, you're better off staying quiet, and in that quiet, it grows stronger. But the truth is this: silence is the oxygen depression breathes. And if you want to weaken it, you have to take away that oxygen by speaking, by reaching out, by letting even a little light into the dark room of your mind. Why isolation feeds depression? Isolation is both a symptom and a cause of deeper suffering. When you withdraw, you give depression the perfect conditions to grow. In silence, your thoughts can twist and magnify every fear, every regret, every wound until they feel like immovable mountains. The mind becomes a closed loop. You think only your thoughts, with no outside voice to challenge them. You start believing everything your depression says, because there's no other perspective to balance it. Humans are wired for connection. Our brains release feel-good chemicals like oxytocin when we engage socially, even in small ways. When you cut off from people, you cut off one of your brain's most natural healing tools. Small steps toward connection. You do not have to pour your heart out to everyone, nor do you have to suddenly be the life of the party. Breaking isolation starts small, often with something that feels almost insignificant. But even tiny steps can have enormous impact. 1. Talk to one safe person daily, even if it's just a short message. Find one person who feels safe, maybe a friend, a sibling, a cousin, or even someone you only know online but trust deeply. You don't have to tell them everything at once. Even a simple, "Hey, I was thinking of you," can open the door to conversation. Sometimes, the act of reaching out is more important than the conversation itself. 2. Join a support community. If speaking to friends or family feels too heavy, consider joining a support group online or in person. Online, there are countless forums and Facebook groups for depression, anxiety, grief, and life struggles. The beauty of these spaces is that everyone there gets it. You won't be judged, because they've walked the same road. Offline, many cities have free or low-cost support circles at community centers or religious institutions. These spaces allow face-to-face empathy, something screens can't fully replace. 3. Accept that humans are designed for connection. It's not weakness to need people. Needing connection isn't a flaw, it's how we're built. Think about it: from birth, we survive because someone else cared for us. Our nervous system calms when we hear a kind voice, when we see a friendly face. You are not clingy or needy for wanting human warmth. You are human. Breaking the mental barriers to reaching out. You might be thinking, nobody will understand me. I'll just be a burden. I don't even know what to say. These are normal thoughts in depression, but they are not facts. Often, people care more than you realize. And if someone doesn't respond well, that's not proof you shouldn't try again, it's just proof that that person wasn't the right one to turn to in that moment. Also, you don't need to know exactly what to say. You can simply start with, "I've been feeling low lately. Can we talk? I don't need advice right now, I just need someone to listen. I'm having a tough day. Can we meet or chat?" The power of shared humanity. When you share even a fraction of what you're going through, you invite someone else into your world. That act does 2 powerful things. 1. It lightens your load, even if only by a little. 2. It gives others permission to share their own struggles, creating mutual healing. You might be surprised how many people around you are silently carrying their own pain, waiting for someone else to open up first. By breaking your silence, you're not only helping yourself, you're creating a chain reaction of honesty and support. Practicable tip for tonight. Before you go to sleep tonight, take one action to break your isolation. Call a friend. Send a message to a sibling or cousin. Join a support group online and post a short introduction. Or, if you truly don't know anyone, call a helpline. Even if you don't feel like talking much, let someone know you exist, that you're here, that you're willing to connect. You don't need to pour out your entire life story, just one step is enough for today. Remember this. Connection doesn't erase depression overnight. But it does give you a lifeline to hold on to while you're finding your way back to the surface. Every message sent, every conversation started, every moment spent with another human is like cutting a small hole in the dark wall that surrounds you, letting in just enough light for hope to grow. Quote to carry with you: depression thrives in silence. Healing begins with a single conversation. Part 4: Physical movement for mental healing. 1. Why movement is a medicine for the mind. Depression often makes you feel like your body is a cage and your mind is trapped inside it. You may feel heavy, tired, and unmotivated, but what most people don't realize is that the body and mind are in constant conversation. Your thoughts affect your body. For example, thinking about a painful memory can make your shoulders tense, your breathing shallow, and your energy drop. But here's the secret most people ignore: your body can also affect your thoughts. When you move even just a little, your brain releases chemicals like endorphins and dopamine that naturally lift mood and reduce stress. Scientists call this the mind-body connection, but in simple words, when you move your body, you move your mind. This is why even a 5-minute walk can sometimes feel like opening a window in a room you didn't realize was suffocating you. 2. You don't need a gym or fancy equipment. One of the biggest lies depression tells you is, "I'll start exercising when I feel better." But that's backwards. You start moving so you can feel better. Forget about heavy workouts or perfect routines. Your healing doesn't start with a treadmill, dumbbells, or a perfect yoga mat. It starts with walking in your house, stretching your arms towards the ceiling, rolling your shoulders to release tension, putting on your favorite song and moving your body however you like. This isn't about burning calories, it's about sending a signal to your brain: I am still here. I am still alive. I am not giving up. 3. The 10-minute rule for mental healing. If I tell you to exercise every day for an hour, your depression will laugh in my face and say, "Yeah, right." So let's make it impossible to fail. The 10-minute rule: do anything that involves movement for 5 to 10 minutes a day. That's all. Examples: walk slowly around your block or room. Stretch your legs while listening to music. Dance to one full song and don't care if you look silly. Do deep breathing with gentle neck and shoulder rolls. The point is consistency, not perfection. If you only have the energy to wave your arms in bed, do that. It still counts. 4. How movement rewires your brain. You may wonder, how can something so small actually help with depression? Here's the science in simple words. Depression reduces certain brain chemicals that make you feel happy and motivated. Movement activates your nervous system and increases the release of those chemicals. It also reduces stress hormones like cortisol, which fuel negative thinking. Over time, your brain starts associating movement with safety and well-being instead of fear or exhaustion. In other words, every small movement is a vote for life. 5. Overcoming the mental resistance. Let us be honest, the hardest part is not the movement, it's starting. Your brain will come up with excuses. I'm too tired. I'll do it later. It won't make a difference. Here's a trick, don't think about it, just start. Tell yourself, I'm just going to do it for 2 minutes. Most of the time, once you start, you'll keep going naturally. 6. Mindful movement for double the healing. You can make movement even more powerful by pairing it with mindfulness. Example. When you walk, notice the feeling of your feet touching the ground. When you stretch, focus on your breathing. When you dance, close your eyes and let the music move through you. Mindful movement turns exercise into meditation, healing your mind and body at the same time. 7. Your morning movement ritual. Morning movement is especially powerful because it sets the tone for your whole day. Here's a simple morning movement ritual, takes less than 10 minutes. 1. Stretch up, stand, reach both arms to the sky, take 3 deep breaths. 2. Roll shoulders 5 times forward, 5 times backward. 3. Neck release, gently tilt head side to side. 4. Shake it out, shake arms and legs for 30 seconds to release tension. 5. Walk or march around the room or in place for 3 to 5 minutes. You'll be surprised how much lighter you feel after just this. 8. Action step for today. Commit to 5 to 10 minutes of light movement every morning, no matter how you feel. Before sleeping tonight, promise yourself, tomorrow morning, I will move my body even if it's just a little. You don't have to believe it will change your life. You just have to do it and let the results speak for themselves. 9. Closing message for this part. Movement is not just about health, it's about hope. It's telling your brain and your heart, I still choose life. I still choose to fight for myself. You don't need to run a marathon to heal. You just need to take the first step and then the next one. Because in healing, small steps are not small, they are everything. Part 5. Nutrition and sleep, fuel for a fighting mind. When we talk about fighting depression, many people think first about therapy sessions, motivational talks, or positive thinking exercises. But here's the truth no one can ignore, your body and mind are connected like two sides of the same coin. If one is weak, the other suffers. You cannot expect a mind to feel strong when the body is running on poor fuel, dehydration, sugar spikes, and chronic exhaustion. The food you eat and the quality of your sleep are not small things, they are the foundation upon which your emotional resilience is built. Without them, even the best advice in the world can feel impossible to follow. Why this matters for depression. When you are going through depression, your brain is already under extra stress. It's processing pain, overthinking, fighting feelings of hopelessness. That alone uses up a huge amount of mental energy. If your nutrition is poor and your sleep is broken, you are giving your brain less fuel to fight back. Imagine trying to climb a mountain with no food in your backpack. Eventually, your body will collapse, no matter how motivated you are. The truth, depression is not just an emotional state, it's also a physical challenge. And that means strengthening your body is one of the most powerful ways to support your mental health. Key points. 1. Poor sleep and unhealthy food make depression worse. Let us be blunt, late nights, irregular meals, junk food, energy drinks, and endless scrolling on your phone destroy your mental clarity. Poor sleep. Your brain heals while you sleep. It processes emotions, stores memories, and releases chemicals that help regulate mood. When you cut sleep short, you wake up with a tired brain that is more sensitive to stress and negative thoughts. Poor sleep also increases the production of cortisol, your body's stress hormone, making you feel even more anxious or hopeless. Unhealthy food. Highly processed foods, sugary snacks, and fried fast foods give you a quick burst of energy but then cause a crash. This crash is not just physical tiredness, it can trigger irritability, sadness, and even panic attacks. Junk food feeds your depression. Fresh, nutrient-rich food feeds your recovery. To hydrate water is mental medicine. You might not think much about drinking water, but dehydration can make you feel sluggish, irritable, and unable to focus. Your brain is almost 75% water, and when you don't drink enough, it literally shrinks in efficiency. Practical hydration rules. Drink a full glass of water as soon as you wake up. Keep a refillable bottle with you all day. Aim for 6 to 8 glasses daily, more if it's hot or you're active. 3. Eat more fresh foods, less processed sugar. We are not talking about extreme diets or expensive superfoods, just simple, consistent changes that nourish your brain. Fresh fruits and vegetables, rich in vitamins, antioxidants, and fiber to stabilize your mood. Whole grains, brown rice, oats, whole wheat bread, keep your energy steady. Protein: eggs, lentils, chicken, fish, beans, repairs brain and body tissue. Healthy fats: nuts, olive oil, avocado, boost brain function and memory. Avoid or limit soda, candy, energy drinks, chips, deep-fried fast food. Think of it like this: every time you eat, you are either feeding your depression or fighting it. 4. Create a bedtime routine: no screens 30 minutes before sleep. The blue light from phones and laptops tells your brain, stay awake. It tricks your body into thinking it's daytime, even at midnight. This delays the release of melatonin, your sleep hormone, making it harder to fall asleep and harder to stay asleep. Better bedtime habits. Turn off screens at least 30 minutes before bed. Dim your lights. Drink a warm caffeine-free drink like chamomile tea. Read a calming book or listen to soft music. Go to bed at the same time every night. Your brain loves routine. How this connects to emotional resilience. When your body is well rested and nourished, your brain produces more serotonin, the happiness chemical, and dopamine, the motivation chemical. This means you think more clearly. You handle stress better. You have more energy to do the other steps in this guide, like exercise, connecting with people, and building new habits. Without this foundation, all other advice will feel like trying to run with a broken leg, exhausting and discouraging. Action step: drink a full glass of water as the first thing after waking up. Why? It jumpstarts hydration. Wakes up your digestive system. Helps your brain switch from sleep mode to focus mode. It's a small win first thing in the morning, and small wins matter. Practicable tips for viewers: 1. Upgrade 1 meal a day, replace processed food with fresh. 2. Water alarm, set reminders to drink water every 2 to 3 hours. 3. Evening wind down, make your bedroom dark, cool, and quiet. 4. Track your sleep, use a free app or journal to see patterns. 5. Snack smart, keep nuts, fruit, or yogurt nearby instead of chips or chocolate bars. Encouraging closing words for this part. You don't have to overhaul your diet in one day or start sleeping perfectly overnight. This is not about perfection, it's about progress. Every single glass of water, every healthy snack, every extra 15 minutes of sleep is a victory in your fight against depression. Remember, your mind is not separate from your body. Treat your body well, and your mind will thank you in ways you can't imagine. Part 6: Mind Detox, guarding what enters your mind. When we talk about depression, most people immediately think about medicine, therapy, or emotional support. While those things are incredibly important, there's a silent, often overlooked factor that plays a huge role in your mental health: the information diet. Just like the food you eat affects your body, the content you consume daily shapes your mind, thoughts, and emotional patterns. If you keep feeding your brain with negativity, comparisons, and hopeless messages, it's like pouring dirty water into a glass and expecting it to stay clean. Depression is already heavy, you don't need the extra weight of unnecessary mental toxins. This part is about taking control of your mental environment, the things you allow to enter your brain through your eyes, ears, and thoughts. If you truly want to heal, you must guard the gates of your mind. Key point 1. Limit news and social media that trigger hopelessness. The world is full of problems: wars, disasters, political instability, economic crises. If you watch the news 24/7, you're constantly reminding your brain that the world is unsafe and hopeless. This triggers your nervous system into a state of fear, stress, and despair. Now, I'm not saying you should live in ignorance or be unaware of reality. But there's a difference between being informed and being overwhelmed. Being informed means you check credible sources briefly, understand the key events, and move on. Being overwhelmed means you scroll endlessly through negative headlines, watch tragic videos, and dive into comment sections full of anger and hate. For someone already struggling with depression, that constant flood of bad news can feel like a heavy storm that never ends. Social media has its own trap. It's not just the negative news, it's also the comparison game. Seeing other people's perfect lives while you're struggling can make you feel even more hopeless. Remember, people post their highlights, not their struggles. Comparing your worst days to their best moments is unfair to you. Practicable adjustment: reduce your daily news consumption to 10 to 15 minutes and choose only reliable sources. On social media, limit usage to a set time per day, and avoid mindless scrolling. Key point 2. Replace 15 minutes of scrolling with uplifting content. If you remove something negative from your mental diet, you need to replace it with something positive. This is where intentional content comes in. Instead of scrolling through endless negativity, choose something that adds value to your life. Podcasts that inspire personal growth. Audiobooks that teach you skills or share powerful stories of resilience. Motivational speeches that remind you of your strength. Educational videos that make you feel capable and curious again. Even 15 minutes of positive content a day can rewire your brain. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and form new thought patterns. What you listen to repeatedly becomes your mental soundtrack. If you fill your mind with encouragement, wisdom, and hope, your inner voice will start to sound the same. Over time, this can shift your outlook from I can to I can. Key point 3. Your mental environment shapes your emotional state. Think about your mind like a garden. If you plant flowers, you'll get beauty and fragrance. If you let weeds grow wild, they'll choke the flowers and take over. The weeds are negative inputs: bad news, toxic social media, gossip, and self-doubt. The flowers are uplifting inputs: wisdom, encouragement, love, and hope. When you're in depression, it's tempting to believe that nothing will help. But your brain reacts to repeated exposure. The more positivity you allow in, the more strength and clarity you gain to deal with your challenges. Example: if you start your day reading social media arguments, your mood will likely be tense all day. But if you start your day with 10 minutes of uplifting reading or listening, your emotional state will be calmer and more focused. Action step: clean your digital space. Tonight or this weekend, set aside 30 minutes to clean your online world. 1. Unfollow or mute accounts that make you feel insecure, angry, or hopeless. 2. Follow pages, channels, and people who post inspiring, educational, or uplifting content. 3. Organize your home screen. Put positive apps, meditation, reading, journaling on the front, and hide or remove apps that pull you into negativity. By doing this, you're creating a mental safe zone where your phone becomes a tool for growth, not a source of pain. A gentle warning. The effects of this change 1T happen overnight. You 1T delete one negative account and suddenly feel amazing. But over weeks and months, you will notice something powerful. Your thoughts will feel lighter, your stress will reduce, and you'll have more mental energy to deal with life. Remember, you can't always control what happens in the world, but you can control what you let into your world. Closing thought for part 6, your mind is the most valuable real estate you own. Guard it like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Part 7, finding a reason to get up. When someone is battling depression, mornings can feel like the heaviest part of the day. You open your eyes, and before you even step out of bed, an invisible weight presses you down, a mix of hopelessness, fatigue, and the thought, why should I even get up? This feeling is deeply real, and it's not because you're lazy, unmotivated, or weak. It's because depression robs the mind of purpose, and without purpose, every movement feels pointless. But here's the truth you need to hear today: purpose doesn't have to be big, glamorous, or world-changing to be powerful. Sometimes, the smallest reason can be enough to pull you out from the darkness of your thoughts and place your feet on the floor. One purpose is a lifeline, not a luxury. When life feels overwhelming, people often think they need a huge reason to live, like achieving a dream job, buying a house, or traveling the world before they can start feeling better. But waiting for a massive reason before you move is like waiting for a ship that may take years to arrive, while you're drowning in the ocean now. Right now, you don't need a massive ship. You just need something that floats, a daily lifeline that keeps your head above water. That lifeline could be watering a plant every morning, feeding your cat or dog, taking care of a child, cooking yourself breakfast, sending a good morning text to a loved one. When you commit to even the smallest responsibility, you create a thread of connection between yourself and the world, a reason to show up in life today. 2. The shift in focus, from what's wrong to what can I do. Depression traps the mind in a loop of what's wrong with me, and the more you repeat that thought, the heavier you feel. Purpose interrupts that cycle by asking a better question: what can I do today? Even if you can't fix your financial situation right now, you can make your bed. Even if you can't solve your heartbreak in one day, you can cook yourself a nourishing meal. Even if you can't erase your loneliness overnight, you can step outside and feel the sunlight on your face. This simple mental shift pulls you out of helplessness and into action. An action, no matter how small, is a seed for hope. 3. Small victories build momentum. Here's something you need to understand: motivation doesn't come before action. Action comes before motivation. If you wait until you feel like getting up, you'll stay in bed for hours, maybe all day. But if you push yourself to take one small step, like getting up to brush your teeth or drink a glass of water, you create momentum. That momentum tells your brain, I'm moving. I'm capable. I can do more. Small victories have a snowball effect. You make your bed, you feel a little better. You drink water, your body wakes up more. You stretch for 2 minutes, you feel lighter. Soon, your day doesn't feel as unbearable as it did when you first opened your eyes. 4. Purpose doesn't have to be permanent. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they need to find their life's ultimate purpose in order to start feeling better. But that's not true. When you're recovering from depression, temporary purpose is enough. You don't need to know where your life will be in 10 years. You only need to know what you're going to do in the next 10 minutes. If today your purpose is to cook dinner, that's enough. If tomorrow your purpose is to take a walk, that's enough. If next week your purpose is to meet a friend for tea, that's enough. Your reason to get up can change as you heal. The important thing is that you have one, no matter how small, every single day. 5. The healing power of responsibility. When depression hits, the easiest option is to withdraw from life, to stop engaging, to stop caring, to hide under the blanket. But this withdrawal also deepens the depression, because humans are built to participate in life. Taking responsibility for something, even something tiny, gives you a sense of worth. If a plant relies on you for water, if your pet waits for you to feed it, if a friend expects your daily text, you matter. It's not about burdening yourself with pressure. It's about gently reminding yourself, someone or something is better because I exist. 6. How to choose your daily purpose. If you're not sure what to choose, here's a simple guide. Keep it small. It should be something you can do even on a bad day. Make it clear. The task should have a definite start and end, e.g. fold laundry instead of clean the house. Connect it to life. Let it involve caring for yourself, your space, or another living being. Examples: making your bed, taking a short walk around the block, writing down 3 things you're grateful for, preparing one healthy meal, talking to one person. 7. Morning ritual, the anchor to your day. To strengthen your reason to get up, create a morning anchor. This is one small thing you do every morning, no matter what, something that signals to your brain, the day has begun, and I am here for it. Your anchor could be drinking a glass of water by the window, listening to one uplifting song, lighting a candle and sitting quietly for 2 minutes. The consistency of this ritual will slowly train your brain to start the day with intention, not dread. 8. Action step for today. Right now, before you close this page, choose one simple daily goal for tomorrow. It should be something that takes 5 to 10 minutes. Write it down. Tomorrow, I will make my bed. Tomorrow, I will step outside for 5 minutes. Tomorrow, I will call my friend. Then, no matter how you feel tomorrow, do it. When you complete it, notice how you feel. Even a 1% improvement matters. That 1% is proof that you can take action even when your mind says you can't. Final thought: depression may tell you there's no reason to get up, but you can answer back, I only need one and I will create it. Every day you choose to show up, even in the smallest way, you are building a bridge back to yourself. And one day, that bridge will carry you to a place where mornings feel lighter, your heart feels stronger, and life feels worth living again. Part 8: Emotional Release and Journaling. When you're dealing with depression, anxiety, or overwhelming emotions, it can feel like you're holding your breath underwater, except it's not just for a few seconds, it's for days, weeks, or months. That constant emotional weight has to go somewhere. If you don't find a safe way to release it, it will start to show up in other areas of life, in your health, your relationships, your work, and even your physical body. Emotional release is not about ignoring your pain or getting over it instantly. It's about creating an outlet, a safe channel where all those bottled up feelings can flow out instead of poisoning your mind. And one of the most powerful, cost-free, and private methods to do this is through journaling. In this section, we're going to dive deep into why emotional release matters, how journaling can transform your inner world, and how you can make it a daily habit even if you've never written a single personal word before. Key point 1: writing feelings reduces their power over you. Here's something important to remember: when emotions stay trapped in your head, they feel endless. But when you write them down, you give them a boundary. Think about it: when you're upset, your thoughts keep circling the same painful memory or fear. You replay conversations, imagine worst-case scenarios, or question your worth over and over again. But when you take a pen and start writing, those thoughts move from your head onto the paper. Suddenly, they're not floating around endlessly in your mind, they're right there in front of you, in black and white. This shift changes everything. Writing makes the emotion something you can see, not just something you feel. It's no longer a shadow chasing you, it's a sentence on a page that you can examine, understand, and eventually let go of. Scientists have found that expressive writing lowers stress, improves mood, and even boosts the immune system. But beyond science, there's a personal magic to it. You start realizing that feelings are temporary. They're just visitors, not permanent residents in your heart. Key point 2: no one has to read it. Write freely, even if it's messy. One of the biggest reasons people hesitate to journal is the fear of judgment. What if someone finds this and thinks I'm weak or dramatic? Let me tell you this: your healing journal is for you and only you. It doesn't need to be beautiful. It doesn't need perfect grammar, fancy handwriting, or even proper spelling. In fact, the messy it is, the more honest it will be. You can write angry rants, sad confessions, random thoughts that make no sense to anyone but you, hopeful wishes for the future. No filters, no censorship, no shame. Think of journaling like talking to your most trusted, non-judgmental friend, except this friend is a notebook that will never interrupt you, never tell you you're overreacting, and never share your secrets. If you're still worried about privacy, keep your journal in a safe place, or even tear out pages and throw them away after writing. The point is not to create a record, the point is to empty your emotional backpack so you can walk lighter. Key point 3: crying is not weakness, it's a cleansing process. When you write deeply about something painful, you may find yourself crying. That's not a sign of failure, it's a sign of release. We live in a world that often tells us to stay strong by not showing emotion. But true strength is not about bottling everything up. Strength is allowing yourself to feel without letting those feelings control your life. Crying is one of the body's natural ways to process and release emotional stress. In fact, emotional tears contain stress hormones, meaning that after you cry, your body literally has fewer stress chemicals. That's why you often feel calmer and lighter afterward. So, if journaling stirs up tears, let them flow. You're not breaking down, you're breaking free. Practicable tip: keep a notebook titled My Healing Journal and write daily for 5 to 10 minutes. Here's how to make journaling a daily emotional release ritual. 1. Get a dedicated notebook. Don't just use random scraps of paper. Choose something you like looking at, even if it's simple. Write My Healing Journal on the cover so it feels like a sacred space for your thoughts. 2. Set a short daily timer. Start small, 5 to 10 minutes a day. You don't need to write for hours. What matters is consistency, not quantity. 3. Pick your time. Some people like journaling first thing in the morning to start the day with a clear mind, others prefer writing before bed to unload the day's weight. 4. Write without judgment. Don't edit as you go. Let the words spill out, even if they feel messy or repetitive. 5. Use prompts if you're stuck. If you're not sure what to write, try, "Oh, today I feel. Oh, one thing that's been on my mind is. Oh, I wish I could tell someone. Oh, right now, I need." 6. Acknowledge your wins. Some days will be heavy, but also write about small joys: a smile from a stranger, a good cup of tea, a beautiful sunset. Why journaling works for emotional healing. To understand why journaling is so powerful, let us break it down. Mental clarity. Writing helps you sort through tangled thoughts, making it easier to see patterns or solutions. Emotional safety. Your journal won't criticize or minimize your feelings, so you can be completely honest. Self-awareness. Over time, you start recognizing triggers, strengths, and areas for growth. Hope building. Looking back at old entries shows you how far you've come, even if progress felt invisible day to day. Bonus. Other emotional release techniques to combine with journaling. While journaling is powerful, you can also pair it with other emotional release methods for even deeper healing. Voice notes. Speak your feelings into your phone's recorder and listen back later if you want to reflect. Art therapy. Draw, paint, or doodle your emotions. No artistic skill required. Movement release. Dance, shake, or simply walk while thinking about what you're releasing. Breathing exercises. Pair journaling with deep breathing to calm your nervous system. Closing thought. Your emotions are like water. If you try to dam them up forever, the pressure will eventually break you. But if you create healthy channels like journaling, the water flows, the pressure eases, and you can finally breathe again. You are not your pain. You are the one strong enough to face it, feel it, and release it. Tomorrow morning, open that notebook. Write for just 5 minutes. And when you close it, know this: you've taken a step toward healing, and that step matters. Part 9. Spiritual grounding. Why spiritual grounding matters. When depression hits, life can start to feel like an endless tunnel with no exit. Everything becomes about the pain you're feeling right now, the sadness, the emptiness, the fatigue, the loss of motivation. But here's the thing: you are living in more than just this moment. There is a larger story unfolding, one that goes beyond your pain. Spiritual grounding is about connecting to that bigger picture, whether it's through God, the universe, your faith, nature, or simply the deep gratitude of being alive. Spirituality does not have to be complicated or tied to a specific religion. It's about finding something steady, unshakable, and meaningful that reminds you, I am not alone. My life matters. This moment is not the end of my story. Key point 1. Whether it's God, prayer, meditation, or gratitude, find your anchor. Think of an anchor on a ship. No matter how strong the wind or how wild the waves, the anchor holds the ship steady so it doesn't drift away. Depression can feel like those stormy waves, pushing you away from your sense of self, your dreams, your hope. Your spiritual anchor is whatever keeps you from drifting too far into hopelessness. For some, it's God. For others, it's daily prayer, meditation, mindfulness, or writing down moments of gratitude. For some, it's simply sitting in silence and breathing deeply, imagining themselves surrounded by peace and love. The truth is, you will have dark days, but if you have an anchor, you won't be lost in the storm forever. How to find your anchor? Ask yourself, what brings me peace when my mind is loud? Try different practices: short prayers, nature walks, breathing exercises, listening to calming spiritual music, or reading uplifting scripture or quotes. Choose one practice you can commit to daily, even for just 5 minutes. Key point 2. Spirituality helps you see life as bigger than this moment. One of the cruel tricks of depression is that it shrinks your vision. It makes you believe that the way you feel now is the way you'll feel forever. But the truth is, nothing stays the same forever. Feelings change. Seasons change. People heal. Spiritual grounding helps you step back and see life like a giant painting. Right now, you may be standing so close to one dark brush stroke that it feels like the whole painting is black. But if you step back, you'll see that your life's painting has bright colors, light, depth, and beauty you can't see from up close. Spiritual practices, whether it's prayer, meditation, or simply reflecting on life, help you take that step back. They remind you that this is just a chapter, not the whole book. Key point 3: faith turns pain into lessons and gives strength for tomorrow. Pain can feel meaningless when you're in the middle of it. But faith, whether in God, the universe, or simply in the goodness of life, helps transform pain into a teacher. Think about this: every wound you've ever had, emotional or physical, has taught you something. Maybe it made you more compassionate. Maybe it taught you resilience. Maybe it revealed your strength. Faith whispers, "This pain has a purpose, even if I can't see it yet." It doesn't mean you should like the pain or pretend it's easy. But it means you believe there is a reason to keep going, that the you of tomorrow will understand what the you of today cannot. Practical ways to build spiritual grounding. Here are some practices you can begin today: simple, gentle, and free. 1. Quiet reflection. Spend 5 minutes in silence each day. You don't need to empty your mind, just sit quietly. Listen to your breathing. Feel your heartbeat. Imagine yourself surrounded by warmth, light, or love. 2. Daily gratitude. Each night, write down 3 small things you're thankful for. Even on hard days, there's something: the taste of your morning tea, the kindness of a stranger, a comfortable bed. Gratitude changes how your brain focuses and slowly shifts you toward hope. 3. Prayer. If you're religious, take a moment to pray. It doesn't have to be formal or long. Speak to God like you would to a friend, openly, honestly, and without filters. 4. Nature connection. Go outside, even for a few minutes. Watch the trees sway, notice the clouds, or listen to birds. Nature has a natural calming effect and reminds you of life's cycle. Seasons of growth always follow seasons of rest. 5. Uplifting input. Replace 10 minutes of social media scrolling with reading something spiritually uplifting: scripture, a devotional, or inspiring stories. Action step: spend 5 minutes daily in quiet reflection, prayer, or meditation. This is non-negotiable self-care for your soul. You don't need the perfect words, the perfect posture, or the perfect atmosphere. Just show up. Even if you sit there with tears in your eyes, you've done something powerful. You've anchored yourself in a moment of stillness. Encouragement for you. You may not feel spiritual right now. You may feel distant from God, disconnected from yourself, or numb to everything. That's okay. Spiritual grounding is not about feeling holy, it's about choosing to connect to something steady, even when you feel broken. It's about whispering to yourself, "I don't understand this pain, but I choose to believe there is more to my story than this moment." When you build that daily habit of connecting to something greater than yourself, you'll notice subtle changes. Your mind will feel a little lighter. Your heart will have more courage. Your hope will slowly grow roots. Final thought. Depression wants you to believe you are alone in the dark. Spiritual grounding is the candle you light in that darkness. It might not make the whole room bright at once, but it's enough to see your next step. And step by step, light by light, you'll find your way forward. Why out loud? Because speaking activates different brain areas than silent thinking. It's like stamping the words deeper into your mind. You can expand this ritual with affirmations such as, "I am doing my best, and that's enough for today. I am learning to love myself in the process. I choose hope over despair." Do not rush this process. Say the words slowly, with intention. Dealing with resistance and self-doubt. You might hear a voice inside say, this isn't true, or this won't work. That's normal, it's your old programming resisting change. Keep going. Healing often feels uncomfortable before it feels natural. The key is persistence. Even if you don't feel it yet, repeat your kinder self-talk daily. Over time, the emotional weight of your old beliefs will weaken. Creating a self-talk journal. One powerful way to track and transform your inner dialogue is to keep a self-talk journal. Each day, write down one negative thought you caught yourself thinking. Next to it, rewrite it in a kinder, truer form. At the end of the week, read your rewritten sentences out loud. Example: negative thought. Rewritten thought: I'm so behind in life. My journey is moving at my own pace. Nobody cares about me. Some people care for me, even if I can't see it right now. Why this step is life-changing. Rewriting self-talk isn't just about feeling better in the moment. It changes the entire way you navigate life. When your inner voice becomes your ally instead of your enemy, you face challenges with more courage. You recover from setbacks faster. You feel a growing sense of self-worth that no one can take away. It's not a quick fix. But with consistency, your new self-talk will feel as natural as breathing, and the cruel voice will fade into the background. Final words. The journey from self-criticism to self-compassion is one of the most profound shifts you can make in healing from depression. Remember, your thoughts are not always facts. You have the power to choose what words you plant in your mind. Speaking kindly to yourself is not vanity, it is survival. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, start your day with words that build you, not break you. I am worthy of healing. I am moving forward. Say it until it feels true. And then say it again. Part 10: Rewriting Self-Talk. Why self-talk matters more than you think. The way we talk to ourselves is not just background noise, it is the very script that our brain uses to decide how we feel, what we believe, and how we act. Imagine your mind as a fertile field. The words you say to yourself are the seeds you plant. If you sow seeds of doubt, criticism, and hopelessness, you grow weeds of insecurity and despair. If you plant seeds of encouragement, compassion, and hope, you grow confidence and resilience. Depression often turns our inner voice into a cruel, relentless critic. It whispers or sometimes shouts things like, "You're useless. You'll never get better. Nobody cares about you. Why even try?" The problem is that over time, if you repeat these thoughts often enough, your brain starts to believe them as facts. The mind doesn't always question whether a thought is true, it simply absorbs what you feed it. This is why rewriting self-talk is a vital step in emotional healing. The link between thoughts, emotions, and actions. Your inner voice influences your emotions, and your emotions influence your actions. Here's how it works. 1 thought: I'm hopeless. 2 emotion: sadness, despair. 3 action: withdrawal, giving up. Now let's flip it. 1 thought: I'm healing, even if it's slow. 2 emotion: hope, determination. 3 action: take a small step forward. Notice the circumstances might not change immediately, but the way you interpret them does, and that changes your emotional and behavioral response. From critic to coach, changing your inner voice. When you first start changing your self-talk, it may feel fake. If you've spent years calling yourself worthless, saying I'm valuable might feel uncomfortable or even laughable. That's okay. Healing doesn't start with believing, it starts with choosing what you repeat to yourself until belief catches up. Think of it like training a muscle. If you've never lifted weights before, the first time will feel hard and awkward. But if you keep practicing, you get stronger. Similarly, if you keep feeding your mind kinder, more empowering words, your mental strength grows. Replacing the old script. A simple way to rewrite self-talk is to catch the negative sentence and swap it with a compassionate one. Instead of, "I can't handle this," say, "I'm learning to handle this, step by step." Instead of, "I'm a failure," say, "I made a mistake, but I'm growing from it." Instead of, "I'm broken," say, "I'm healing." Instead of, "Nothing will ever change," say, "Things can change, even if I can't see it yet." The goal is not to deny reality but to speak in a way that encourages rather than destroys. Why words are powerful for the brain. Neurologically speaking, your brain responds to language in real, physical ways. When you speak or think positively about yourself, dopamine, the motivation chemical, can increase. Serotonin, the mood stabilizer, can rise. Neural pathways associated with resilience strengthen. On the flip side, repeated negative self-talk can trigger stress hormones like cortisol, making you feel more anxious, fatigued, and unmotivated. Speaking to yourself like someone you love. Imagine someone you deeply care about, a child, sibling, or close friend, comes to you feeling defeated. Would you tell them, "You're worthless. Why even bother?" Of course not. You'd encourage them, remind them of their worth, and tell them they're doing their best. That's the voice you must begin using with yourself. You are not weak for needing encouragement. You are human. Practicable tip: morning declaration ritual. Every morning, before you check your phone, look in the mirror or simply sit quietly and say out loud, "I am worthy of healing. I am moving forward." Why out loud? Because speaking activates different brain areas than silent thinking. It's like stamping the words deeper into your mind. You can expand this ritual with affirmations such as, "I am doing my best, and that's enough for today. I am learning to love myself in the process. I choose hope over despair." Do not rush this process. Say the words slowly, with intention. Dealing with resistance and self-doubt. You might hear a voice inside say, "This isn't true," or "This won't work." That's normal. It's your old programming resisting change. Keep going. Healing often feels uncomfortable before it feels natural. The key is persistence. Even if you don't feel it yet, repeat your kinder self-talk daily. Over time, the emotional weight of your old beliefs will weaken. Creating a self-talk journal. One powerful way to track and transform your inner dialogue is to keep a self-talk journal. Each day, write down one negative thought you caught yourself thinking. Next to it, rewrite it in a kinder, truer form. At the end of the week, read your rewritten sentences out loud. Example: negative thought. Rewritten thought: "I'm so behind in life. My journey is moving at my own pace. Nobody cares about me. Some people care for me, even if I can't see it right now." Why this step is life-changing. Rewriting self-talk isn't just about feeling better in the moment. It changes the entire way you navigate life. When your inner voice becomes your ally instead of your enemy, you face challenges with more courage. You recover from setbacks faster. You feel a growing sense of self-worth that no one can take away. It's not a quick fix. But with consistency, your new self-talk will feel as natural as breathing, and the cruel voice will fade into the background. Final words. The journey from self-criticism to self-compassion is one of the most profound shifts you can make in healing from depression. Remember, your thoughts are not always facts. You have the power to choose what words you plant in your mind. Speaking kindly to yourself is not vanity, it is survival. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, start your day with words that build you, not break you. I am worthy of healing. I am moving forward. Say it until it feels true. And then say it again. Part 11: Getting professional help without fear. When you're struggling emotionally, mentally, or even physically due to the weight of depression, anxiety, or trauma, the idea of seeking professional help can feel overwhelming, even frightening. Many people hesitate to reach out because of fear of being judged, fear of being seen as weak, fear of what others might think, or fear of not knowing what will happen during therapy or treatment. But here's the truth you need to hear: seeking help is not a sign of weakness, it is one of the bravest and most powerful steps you can take toward healing. Just as you would see a doctor if you broke your arm or had severe chest pain, you deserve the same care and urgency for your mental health. Your mind is part of your body. If it's hurting, it deserves attention, compassion, and professional support. 1. Understanding the stigma and why it's wrong. For generations, society has placed unfair labels on mental health care. Many cultures have treated emotional struggles as something you just get over or toughen up from. This has led people to suffer in silence, believing they should handle everything on their own. The problem with this mindset is that mental health issues are not a personal flaw or failure, they are human experiences. Depression, anxiety, burnout, grief, these are as real as any physical illness. And just like physical illnesses, they often require expert knowledge, tested methods, and guided support to heal. Stigma thrives in ignorance. Once you understand that therapy is simply guidance for your mind and emotions, much like personal training is for your body, the shame begins to fade. You realize that getting help isn't admitting defeat, it's choosing to fight smarter. 2. Why professional help works. You may have strong friends, loving family, or even self-help books, and those are all valuable. But therapists, counselors, and doctors bring something unique. Tools you might not know exist. They're trained in evidence-based methods like cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT), dialectical behavioral therapy (DBT), trauma-informed care, and more. These are proven ways to help you change patterns of thinking and behavior that keep you stuck. A neutral, non-judgmental space. Friends might listen, but they also have their own opinions, emotions, and personal history with you. A therapist is trained to hear you without bias, helping you see your situation clearly without personal entanglement. Step-by-step guidance. Healing can feel overwhelming. Professionals break it down into manageable steps so you're not left wondering, where do I even start? Accountability. Just like having a coach helps you stick to a fitness plan, having a mental health professional keeps you committed to your emotional healing journey. 3. Breaking the fear of the first step. One of the scariest parts of getting help is the first appointment. You might not know what to expect or whether it will even help. Here's the reality: the first session is usually just a conversation. You don't have to pour out your deepest pain in the first 5 minutes. A good therapist will let you share at your own pace. Think of it as meeting a guide for the first time. You're simply telling them about your current situation so they can understand how to help you navigate forward. It's not about judgment, it's about building a safe, trusting space. 4. The myth of I should handle this alone. Many people believe asking for help means they've failed. This is simply not true. Even the strongest individuals, athletes, leaders, creators have coaches, mentors, and advisors. If anything, asking for help shows self-awareness, courage, and a commitment to growth. Imagine someone drowning in deep water. Would you tell them to just swim harder, or would you throw them a life preserver? Therapy is that life preserver. You still do the swimming, but now you have something to keep you afloat. 5 types of professional help. There's more than one way to get professional support. You can choose what feels most comfortable for you. Therapists or counselors work with you one-on-one or in groups to process feelings, teach coping skills, and address emotional challenges. Psychiatrists, medical doctors who can assess if medication might help balance your mental health. Online therapy platforms, websites and apps like BetterHelp, Talkspace, or 7 Cups that connect you to licensed professionals without leaving your home. Support groups, led by trained facilitators, where you connect with others going through similar struggles. You don't have to commit to one forever. You can try different approaches until you find the right fit. 6. Making help accessible. If money, time, or location is a barrier, you still have options. Community mental health centers often provide free or low-cost counseling. Online therapy can be cheaper and more flexible than in-person visits. Hotlines and text services like the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline in the US or Befrienders worldwide offer immediate, free emotional support. School or workplace counselors may provide services you're already entitled to without extra cost. Help exists. Sometimes you just need to look in places you haven't tried before. 7. Healing doesn't mean you're broken. One reason people resist therapy is the belief that they must be broken if they need it. But here's the truth: therapy is not only for crisis moments. Many people go to therapy even when life is fine because they want to grow, strengthen their mindset, and prepare for future challenges. Therapy is like regular maintenance for your car. You don't wait for it to completely break down before servicing it. You care for it so it runs smoothly for years to come. Your mind deserves the same preventive care. 8. What to expect in your healing journey. Therapy isn't an instant cure, it's a process. At times, it may feel uncomfortable as you face truths or emotions you've avoided. But discomfort is often the sign that growth is happening. Over time, you'll notice subtle but powerful changes. You react to stress more calmly. Your inner voice becomes kinder. You see challenges as manageable rather than overwhelming. You regain hope for your future. 9. Action step: search for a local counselor or online platform today. Don't wait for the perfect moment, there is no such thing. Open your browser and type, "therapist near me" or "online counseling" for your location. Make a short list of options. Send one message or make one call. That single step could open the door to a completely different chapter of your life. If that feels too big, your action step today can be simply researching what therapy is like or asking someone you trust if they know a good counselor. Remember, movement, even tiny movement, creates momentum. Final thought. Getting professional help isn't about admitting you're weak. It's about refusing to give up on yourself. It's a declaration that your life, your peace, and your happiness are worth fighting for. You don't have to walk this road alone. There are people who have dedicated their lives to helping you heal, people who see your worth even when you can't. Let them in. One conversation could be the start of your comeback story. Part 12: Small Steps to a New Life. Healing is not a single, grand event. It's not a lightning bolt that strikes and suddenly makes everything perfect. Instead, healing is a quiet, consistent process built slowly, step by step, day by day. When you're struggling, it's tempting to wish for an instant breakthrough, a magical moment when all the pain disappears. But the truth is, transformation happens through small, daily choices that accumulate into a life you can be proud of. This is why the phrase, One small step in the right direction can turn your whole life around, is so powerful. It reminds you that you don't need to fix everything at once. You just need to take one action today that moves you forward, even slightly. One healing is not an overnight miracle. We live in a culture that glorifies instant results, instant weight loss, instant career success, instant happiness. But the human mind and heart do not heal on this schedule. You didn't arrive at your current struggles overnight, and you won't rebuild yourself overnight either. The beauty of small steps is that they take away the pressure of perfection. You're not required to leap from rock bottom to the mountaintop in a single bound. You simply need to ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today to take care of myself? Some days, that one thing might be big, like reaching out to an old friend or applying for a job. Other days, it might be as simple as getting out of bed and opening the curtains. Both matter. Both are victories. 2. You don't need to see the whole staircase. Imagine standing at the bottom of a staircase so tall you can't even see the top. The idea of climbing it all at once feels overwhelming, maybe impossible. But if you focus on just the first step, something amazing happens. You take it. Then you take another. And before you know it, you're halfway up without even realizing it. This is how emotional recovery works. You may not know exactly how your life will look a year from now. You may not have all the answers. But you do have the ability to decide on your next action. Instead of worrying about whether you'll be happy 5 years from now, focus on doing one small thing that makes today a little lighter. The staircase will reveal itself as you climb. 3. The power of 1% better each day. Let's think mathematically for a moment. If you improve just 1% every day for a year, you'll end up 37 times better than where you started. That's the magic of compound growth. In life, small, consistent improvements create momentum. Drinking one extra glass of water today might not feel life-changing. Going for a 10-minute walk might seem insignificant. But these choices build habits, and habits shape your future. The opposite is also true. Neglecting yourself in small ways, skipping meals, avoiding movement, staying in toxic environments can accumulate into deep exhaustion and hopelessness. This is why every little choice matters. Ask yourself, can I make my bed today? Can I step outside for a breath of fresh air? Can I speak kindly to myself for just 30 seconds? These are not small actions. They are foundational bricks in the house you're building for your new life. 4. Turning small steps into a habit loop. A habit loop is made of 3 parts: cue, routine, and reward. Cue, a trigger that reminds you to take action. Routine, the action you choose to take. Reward, the satisfaction or relief you feel after doing it. Example. Cue, your alarm goes off in the morning. Routine, you drink a glass of water and take 3 deep breaths. Reward, you feel refreshed and more awake. When you repeat this loop daily, the action becomes automatic, no extra willpower required. This is why starting small is crucial. You're wiring your brain to choose healing actions by default. 5. Momentum is more important than motivation. Many people wait for motivation before taking action. The problem: motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes, especially when you're feeling low. Instead, focus on momentum, the energy that builds when you take action, no matter how small. It's easier to keep moving once you've started, just like it's easier to keep pushing a swing once it's already in motion. If you wake up with no desire to do anything, tell yourself, I'll just do one small thing. Often, that one thing leads to another. Washing one dish might lead to washing all of them. Putting on walking shoes might lead to a 15-minute stroll. The trick is not to wait until you feel like doing it, do it, and the feeling will follow. 6. Celebrating micro-wins. One reason people lose hope is because they fail to recognize progress. They think only big achievements count. But every time you choose something healthy over something harmful, you're proving to yourself that you can grow. Here are examples of micro-wins worth celebrating. Sending a text to check in on someone. Choosing a nourishing meal. Saying no to something that drains you. Turning off your phone 30 minutes before bed. Smiling at yourself in the mirror. Each of these is a step away from the old you and toward the person you're becoming. Keep a journal of these small wins, and you'll start to see just how far you've come. 7. Learning to trust the process. There will be days when it feels like nothing is changing. You'll be tempted to think all your efforts are pointless. But remember, growth is often invisible until one day, it's undeniable. Think about planting seeds. For weeks, you may see no sign of life above the soil. But underground, roots are forming, spreading, and strengthening. Then, suddenly, a tiny green sprout breaks through. That's how healing works. You're building unseen strength that will one day bloom. Trust that your small steps are creating change, even if you can't see it yet. 8. Practical daily actions to start now. Here are some examples of small, doable actions you can choose from each day. Morning, make your bed, drink water, open the curtains. Midday, step outside for 5 minutes, stretch your body, eat a piece of fruit. Evening, write down 3 things you're grateful for, light a candle, do gentle breathing exercises. The point is not to do all of these at once, it's to pick one and commit to it. 9. The ripple effect of one step. One step leads to another in ways you might not expect. Choosing to walk outside for 5 minutes might lead you to see a neighbor, sparking a friendly conversation. That conversation might lift your mood enough to clean your kitchen. Cleaning your kitchen might make you feel capable, leading you to cook a healthy meal. Suddenly, what started as a tiny choice has shifted the energy of your entire day. 10. Final encouragement. Your new life is not built in one grand leap, it's built through hundreds of small, deliberate steps. Some days, you may take 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, but that's still progress. Don't underestimate the power of a 1% change. The difference between who you are now and who you want to be is not in giant leaps, it's in the quiet, daily decisions you make when no one is watching. Remember, one small step in the right direction can turn your whole life around. Take that step today.